Welcome back, guys. This is AG here, back with some more deck profiles. Today it'll be on a slightly less meta set. Definitely a very fun set, but not very meta, which is Arifureta. So, funny enough, I purchased this set a little while ago, and then pretty much right afterwards, they announced it for English. And so I was hoping this would come into English, and I wasn't on the radar. It wasn't on the upcoming sets to be released, so I was like, well, I guess they're just gonna skip it. And then so I bought it, and then sure enough, right after that, they announced it for English. So I have it now. It is what it is, but I might just repurchase it for English, maybe sell my JP version. I have to see, but yeah, it's good because I can at least now I can like kind of test it and get all the kinks out of the way. So, yeah, and I'm going to be doing, this is going to be a double deck profile, actually, because I kind of just want to do both decks in one. So the one deck is the red deck. It's basically all red except for, like, one card. And then this is the triple color deck. So there is a version people are playing right now, which is kind of like a 4-color deck, where you played, like, tech red in the 3-color deck as well. I just think that's, like, very high roll, very inconsistent. And also, it makes it so your deck isn't playing any heals whatsoever, which I also don't like. I mean, other than the Brainstorm, but we'll get to that. So, yeah. So I kind of just modified it because I did want to have, like, the two decks, the whole red deck and the other deck. So, but yeah, that's it. We'll get to it here. So, first we'll do the +2 soul deck, I guess. This is the one that's considered, like, I guess, like, a little bit more... a little bit better than the other deck, but yeah, it's still, we'll get to it here. So first we have 4 copies of the drop search. So this is just like a normal drop search, but it's very, very important that you play 4 copies of this card, because you have to have one in memory for your level 1 climax combo to even do anything. Thankfully, it's just when reverse goes memory for free, so it's not too hard. But yeah, if you just don't for some reason get really bad luck and don't open this in the early turns, you might just be screwed. So yeah, it's kind of sucks that has your level 1 climax combo has like an extra restriction on top of already being a climax combo. But you know. And then we have 4 copies of this card. So this is a pretty cool card, actually. So it is technically supposed to be kind of like the gold bar support. So like when you add a climax to your hand, you can discard a card and then check top 2, add 1 kind of thing. But its main purpose actually is to recycle your level 1 climax combo as much as possible, because its effect is pay 2 rest and discard a card to salvage 2 copies of the same card from your waiting room. So you can salvage your level 1 combos, you can salvage, you know, whatever else you want, level 3s. But yeah, they have to be like the same card. So that's why in this deck you play like 4 ofs or 3 ofs of like a lot of things, because you always want to be able to like get 2 copies of the same card off this card, essentially. Next card is just 4 copies of this runner. So this is just like a very kind of like just normal standard beater runner. It just gets 2k during your turn and then runs away if it's facing a character. So just a good attacker. You kind of want those for the early game. And then next is 4 copies of this Brainstorm. So this card is very key to the strategy, actually, and is also one of my favorite cards in the set, because it is a normal tap self salvage Brainstorm, of course, but it is also pay to rest heal. And I love pay to rest heal. For some reason, I've always liked it in WEISS. And so the fact that I get to just play it on like a normal Brainstorm I'd be playing anyway, that's pretty nice. And it also even has a third like benefit of playing it, which is it is a student or teacher trait. Not every card in the set is student or teacher. In fact, most of them aren't. But it's very key for a certain blue card we'll get to later. But yeah, just, I mean, it's your Brainstorm. You're probably going to play at least like 3 or 4 anyway, right? And then then we have the only blue level 0 that we play, which is this card. So this card is also a very good card. The problem with it is that it has terrible art. This face is, I don't know who drew this face, but that's a very bad screen cap frame kind of thing. But yeah, so her effect is just come and play, clock yourself one, or clock a card from your hand and to look at 4, take anything. That's really good. You can just take level 2s, or sorry, plus 2 souls. You can take, you know, whatever you might need. So yeah, just very good. You can take anything with that. And then it's also a, you can send a card from your hand to stock on play as well. So if you just, like, for some reason really need stock. I find in this deck you almost never use that effect because you almost always have stock. But it is there in case you need to in a pinch. And then last card is just 3 copies of the Climax Swap. I only played 3, mainly just because I'm playing like 1 copy of a level 2 card, which kind of takes up the 4th slot of this, really. And that level 2 card is very inconsistent. I see all the JP Let's play, and I understand why they play it. It's just, it seems like very inconsistent to me. Like, it seems like a card you'll get off like once every 50 games, and I don't know if it's worth like playing a card like that. But yeah, so I might just cut that card just to play like a 4th Climax Swap, just for like maximum consistency. Yeah, this is like the new broken Climax Swap where you can just sack a character on your stage instead of paying one. So it also helps with that, with like conserving stock. Like, you already have a bunch of stock, so now you're just like not paying stock for certain effects as well. So then next we have 4 copies of the level 1. So this is the main broken level 1 that pretty much makes this whole deck even work. So this is a level 1 with a Soul Trigger, first off. That's ridiculous. Then she also has a first effect, which is, it's not tied to the Climax combo whatsoever, which is when her damage is canceled, you can add her back to your hand. So even if you don't have combo in play, if you're just attacking for like 2 and they cancel it, you just add it back to your hand. And then the Climax combo is you need the level 0 UA in memory, this card. And then it is, if her damage is canceled and you have the +2 soul in play also, you can stock 2 cards from your waiting room and also check for add one character, sorry. So, in addition to also bouncing her back to your hand because of her first effect. So, it just allows you to, like, loop it over and over again, and it's basically like, you attack for, like, 3 or 4 and they cancel, or, they just ate a bunch of damage, so, yeah. And then next we have 2 copies of this card. It is a anti-burn card. So it's actually only anti-ping 1, and it's kind of specific. You have to have a specific field set up for it, which is you need student or teacher characters on your stage, at least 2 or more others besides herself. But luckily the Brainstorm counts as one, and the level 3 blue card also counts as one. So usually if you can get some sort of combination of those in play, then you'll have anti-ping 1 for yourself, which is nice. But of course, it is kind of matchup dependent. So sometimes you might not need ping 1 because they have like ping 2s or something along those lines. Next we have 1 copy of the level 2. This is the one that I was saying was kind of like seemed kind of inconsistent. But it's a come and play. You can discard 1 and shuffle or choose 1 card in your opponent's waiting room, keep it there, and then shuffle everything else back. But it requires you to have 4 or more other student or teacher characters, which is pretty hard to do in this deck. That's why it's kind of inconsistent, but just for now, I'm gonna keep it in there. That's what people have been playing. And then moving on to level 3s, so we have 4 copies of this Bunny Girl level 3. So this card is, I really like this card because it has the effect of come into play. You can choose a card in your hand and play it for free, as long as it's equal to or less than your level. So I really like those cards. Whenever I get a chance to play them, I always try to play them. And just so happens this is the main finisher combo for this deck, so that's pretty nice. So yeah, it is at the end of its attack, if you have bar in play, pay 3, ditch 1, and just restand. So you can just get like 6 attacks off, or maybe 5 attacks and a burn 2, or whatever you want to do, right? Then next we have 3 copies of this just early play heal. So the main other deck plays 4 color, and you play the red level 3 over this card. But I just didn't like playing like no heals in my deck, other than the Brainstorm, of course. So I kind of opted to play this, and also because I just want to make the red deck as well and just have that be like a separate deck. But this card's pretty good. It just allows you to keep stage sometimes, because if the damage from its attack is canceled, it gets plus 4k. So yeah, that's nice. And then 3 of this card. So this is kind of my spicy tech for this deck. Is 3 copies of this card. I don't think I've seen many people play this card at all, or maybe if they do, they might only play like 1 copy, but I'm just straight up playing 3 because it really enables the anti-ping to be online way more easily. And then also it is a climax salvager, which I really like those, because this deck you want to be slamming climaxes like every single turn. So you don't really want to like hold a gold bar going into your final turn. You'd rather just like play it, and then you can just play this and get it back right away anyway. And then it's also a on reverse pay 2 ditch 1 burn 2. So just overall great card. Doesn't require climax for that effect either, so you can combo with the bunny girl. And then last is just the stock swap card. So it's just normal stock swap level 3, but its secondary effect is very useful, which is come and play, you can minus 2k to your opponent's whole front row. I really like that effect. I wish I had that effect in some other sets, because especially since this card you actually need to reverse, so combining it with this is that's damn nice. And then last is just the climaxes, 4 copies of the meme, the +2 soul, and then 4 copies of the gold bar, of course. Okay, and then moving on to the second deck, which is the red deck. So we have 4 copies of the Hajime, level 0. So this is also kind of like the same thing with the drop search in the other deck. Very important that you just play 4 copies of this, because you need it for the level 3 to marker. So, but it's just a salvage Ricky, so obviously good card anyway, and then also gets plus 15 come into play, and even works when sent to waiting room or when come into play. So yeah, just also a good first turn play. And then next we have 4 copies of the event searcher. So this is the come and play. You can check top 3 if there's an event added to your hand, ditch 1. You only play 1 event in this deck anyway, but you could play some other events. There is like the yellow event for UA as well if you wanted to play that. So but I'm just playing the red one for reference. So and he's also just a normal red bomb, so that's decent, I guess. Decent. Normally red bombs aren't that good. Then we have 4 copies of this Akatsuki type of card. So it is a basically full power Akatsuki, other than the fact that it has an additional effect to it, or stipulation I should say, which is you have to resonate to the level 3 Hajime, which is this card. But still good, because you can just, Akatsuki burn through your deck really fast if you want. The only downside is that it might be dead, like, turn 1, potentially, if you don't happen to open level 3, so there is that. And then she also has a second effect if you could just, like, blink one of your opponent's characters, which is just sending it to memory, and then it just comes back right away. Just makes it lose any effects it might have had, and also works with the next card here, which is 4 copies of the Brainstorm. So the Brainstorm is a Brainstorm 5, but it only works for doors. So that's why you have to play 8 doors in this deck. And then secondary effect is actually when one of your opponent's characters is sent to memory, you can buff someone on your stage by 2k. So just allows you to combo with this to just become like a 2k, free 2k buff. And then 1 copy of the Climax Swap. Yeah, just for consistency's sake. So the level 1s. So you have 4 copies of the UA level 1. So this is like a Bunny Girl Union, but instead of needing to reverse, you just have to resonate to Hajime again, to level 3 Hajime. So it's good. Doesn't need to reverse, especially since it is technically like 500 weaker than Bunny Girl Union. But yeah, just more guaranteed to go off, I guess, because you don't have to worry about getting countered. And then 2 copies of this. This is just like an anti-early play bomb. I was playing 2 for sure back when Alice was being played. So I might swap this out for something else, or maybe just cut it down to 1. I don't know. Yeah, it's also a memory kick as well, which is kind of nice because it again combos with all the memory effects in this deck. And then there's two of this. This is just a 1k counter, just for there, and it's also a memory kick anti-change counter by ditching 2. And then just 3 copy of the event. So this is a pretty cool event. It's basically a it's just choose one of 2 effects. You can either minus 15 one character on your opponent's side of the field, even back rows, so you can just like snipe back rows with it, which is kind of nice. Or it's just a salvage equal to the top deck of your deck. So it's like whatever, if it's a level 3, you can get a level 3 or lower, that kind of thing. So yeah, just a consistency card, and sometimes you can use it to like snipe back rows, which is kind of cool. 2 copies of this level 3 battler. So it is also memory kick. So if you kill something with it, you can just kick on the memory. So just a good consistency card to help out stuff. And then this card is broken. Whenever they keep making these, they always make them with door, I find, which is kind of funny. I don't know why they chose door, but sure. But it's just come and play, pay 1, ditch 1, and search your deck for a door, add it to your hand. So I think like Quince has this, Hololive has this, a few other sets might have it that I'm not aware of, but I know those ones do. And yeah, it's good, and like every time they make it, pretty much. And then it's also just a front 1500 support, so that's good. And then last is just the 2 counters. So this is just a normal memory kick counter, and this is the promo. This is actually a new promo that just came out recently. I was lucky to get one from my locals in Toronto, and it's a pretty nifty card, which is, it's normally a 2500 counter, but if your opponent has a climax in play, it's a 4500 counter. So might catch people off guard with that quite a bit. And level 3s is just 4 copies of the UA level 3. So she is just a early play if you have 4 or more, and then you can, when she's played, you can mark her the level 0 Hajime underneath her from your waiting room, and ping your opponent for 1 damage. So unlike most early plays, which are like heal or maybe like check top X or whatever, so she's just like actually like a burn early play, which is kind of unique. Yeah, so it also works as like a finisher at late game as well, if you just want to like play it just to like burn 1. And then she just gets 500 for everyone else, so just like a 10-5 early play. And then last is just the Hajime finisher. So for some reason they decided to make this card only have 1 effect. I don't know why. I mean, it's a good effect, the one that it has, but it's very, very weird that it only has 1 effect. I don't know if there's like some lore related to that or whatever, but yeah, so his effect is just on attack with the door in play, with his door, you can discard a card and then burn your opponent for whatever its level was that you discarded plus 1. So it allows you to burn for very specific amounts, which is nice in battle phase. So, if they're 3-4, you can just like ditch a level 3 to just burn them for 4 or 3 or whatever you want to do, right? So, or if they're like really close to dying, if they're at like 3-5, you can just ditch level 1, burn for 2. So yeah, pretty cool effect. It's just really weird and kind of shitty that he doesn't have any other secondary effect, like not even like a heal or anything. Yeah, very, very weird there. And then last is just the climaxes. So the 4 doors and the 4 level 3 doors. Yep. And that's it. If you guys like the video, I mean, like, that's the thing, like, Arifureta is not very meta set, but it is coming out into English now, which is kind of nice, so people might want to pick it up for that. Yeah, that's it, guys. If you like the deck, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and this is EIJI'S signing out.